how our children in our schools are being educated about climate change. There is a war going on for our schools. You've got all these groups that are using essentially critical race theory and homosexuality and trans and, you know, all these kind of culture war things as wedges or as weapons to seize control of school boards. But then you talk to those people or you look at their positions, their policy positions, and they are completely aligned with the Republican Party. And one of their main things is getting climate change out of the schools. I think, frankly, an awful lot of this, I mean, you know, I was wondering a year ago, you know, when we were seeing the rise of these so-called grassroots groups and that they were receiving hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of dollars from people affiliated with right-wing billionaires who had made their fortunes in the fossil fuel industry. And I was wondering, you know, when's the other shoe going to drop? Well, it's dropping. The fossil fuel industry not only buys senators and members of Congress, it's now buying school board members and state board of education members. And thank you, Clarence Thomas, for this. They can do it because of Citizens United. And this is, I mean, you know, it's just 4 out of 5 Americans, 2 out of 3 Republicans think kids should be taught the actual science of climate change and its association with fossil fuels. But right now in Texas, this is the ground zero where the battle is happening. As we speak, they are determining what the textbooks will be for next year and for the next decade. 10 years ago, well, it was actually 14 years ago, in 2009, as they were setting up the school books for the 2014 school year. In 2009, every 10 years, Texas does this. It's called the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, TEKS, program. And they determine what the core standards are for education in Texas. And the battle back in 2009 was over evolution. The Texas State Board of Education was chaired by a dentist, a guy by the name of Don McLeroy, who was an avowed young Earth creationist, you know, one of these people who believes that the entire universe was created by their God 6,000 years ago. And when the topic of evolution came up, he declared in a public meeting, somebody's got to stand up to the experts. And when he was asked about global warming, he said, conservatives like me think the evidence is a bunch of hooey. Fast forward 10 years, McLeroy has moved on, but there's a whole new crop of right-wingers on the Texas State Board of Education. And some of them are actually lawyers or lawyers for or affiliated with the fossil fuel industry in Texas. And what they are arguing is that, you know, there should be balanced instruction. Yeah, you can talk about fossil fuels may have something to do with climate change, but it's in dispute. You know, climate change actually is a naturally occurring thing. Every couple 100,000 years, there's a big change in the climate. You know, every few million years, you can see this in the fossil record. So don't worry about it. It's just normal. Yeah, it wiped out the dinosaurs. It might wipe out humanity, but let's not talk about that. So, number one, they're trying to say it's just a natural thing. And number two, they're trying to say, you know, it's a debate. Number three, they're trying to say, you know, there are also problems associated with renewables.